Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. We have got some crazy stories to report for you all this morning. But before we do that, please do me a small favour. If you are watching the show for the first time today, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Bottom right hand corner. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. We're getting very close now, so please go and subscribe. Let's try and hit that by the end of the transfer window. That can be the target. On the show this morning, we're going to be talking about Gyökeres to Manchester United, with the player reportedly agreeing to come to the club. Obviously, we still need to agree terms with Sporting Lisbon, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on into the video. We're also going to be talking about Hojlund, who looks like he could be moving to Serie A. We'll also be talking about Antony, who is taking one step closer to moving to Real Betis on a permanent deal. We'll be talking about Mbuemo. Lots and lots to get into. As always, I like to start my show off with a question. And the question this morning is going to be about the striker position. How do you feel about the possibility of Manchester United signing Viktor Gyökeres? Is he the player you want? There are some rival fans this morning saying that he's not very good and he's overrated and he's got a really bad first touch. And some people saying that he's a bad signing. I want to get your thoughts. Get in the comments section now. How would you feel if Manchester United go ahead and sign Viktor Gyökeres? I want to get your thoughts right now. I'm going to bring you the news on the story first, and then I will give you my thoughts as well. So we're going to start off with the breaking news that came out last night. This is coming from multiple different people. It came from Ben Jacobs. It came from a couple of other people as well. Ben Jacobs has been really good so far this transfer window, so hats off to him. He is reporting this morning that, let me just get the story up for you. Where is it? Where is it gone? Okay, here we go. So this is coming out from Ben Jacobs. He's reporting that Viktor Gyökeres is very keen to move to Manchester United this summer. He says that Champions League football isn't everything for the player. He says that if Manchester United can find a way to pay the 70 million euros asking price, then he will be able to reunite with Amorim. Outgoings will also play a big part. Okay, so that was the first story in relation to Gyökeres. And then he also says Ruben Amorim has kept in constant contact with Viktor Gyökeres, who is very keen to join Manchester United even without Champions League football. So, as I said, he's effectively agreeing, as the video title says, he's effectively agreeing to join Manchester United. He wants to join Manchester United. All he is now waiting for is for Manchester United to submit that official bid. And we are expecting that to happen. Now, what needs to happen first in order for Manchester United to be able to submit the bid is outgoings. We know the players who need to leave. It's people like Rashford, it's people like Antony, it's people like Sancho. Obviously, Eriksen's already out of the door. Johnny Evans is already out of the door. So there are already some players who have already left the club. So we are making positive strides in the right direction to, one, clear our wage bill, and two, bring in some funds. So that is a positive bit of news, really. But in relation to Gyökeres, obviously he does have a release clause, which means that the deal is relatively easy to do. His release clause at the moment is, I believe, £60 million. Let me just double check. Yes, it's £60 million, which is what, 70 odd million euros roughly. It is a lot of money, but when you think about it, for somebody who got, I think it was 7 goals in the Champions League last season and maybe 40 goals in the Portuguese league. Yes, the Portuguese league isn't the quality of the Premier League. We can all agree on that. And we actually did a little bit of a analysis on a show a couple of days ago where we compared the squad values of the Portuguese league versus the Premier League. And most of the teams in the Portuguese league, their squads are valued around 30 million euros. So what I mean by squad value is the value of the players who play for the team. So their teams in the Portuguese league were around 30 million euros squad value, right? Whereas if you look in the Premier League, it's more around 200, 300, 400 million. There is a massive gap is what I'm saying. So there are some rival fans saying, oh, you're welcome to him. He's not very good. He's overrated. I don't think you can score 6 goals in 8 Champions League games. 1 goal every 101 minutes. So literally a goal a game. and be overrated. I don't think you can get 54 goals and 13 assists in 52 matches, averaging a goal or an assist every 79 minutes. So he's averaging a goal or an assist more than every single game, which is incredible. He's currently leading the Golden Boot race for the whole of Europe. In fact, I think he probably is going to win it, isn't he? Because the season's over. So I would be absolutely buzzing with Gyökeres. I think the thought of our attacking line next season being Gyökeres, Mbuemo and Cunha, that sounds incredible. I honestly think that will completely transform this team. I don't think it's enough to immediately be like, oh, we should be winning the title, because I still think we have gaps in the rest of the team. We're talking goalkeeper. We're talking there's a massive gap in our midfield. We're looking at wing backs, centre-back issues. You know, if Martinez is injured all again next season and Lenny Yora gets injured, De Ligt seems to be injured most of the time. I mean, who are you left with? Aiden Heaven, who's also seems to get injured a lot. Maguire, Lindelof's gone, you know. So we do still have gaps in the team, but we have to remember that last season our main issue was scoring goals. And that was partly because Hojlund, let's be honest, is useless. Garnacho is selfish and doesn't pass the ball, and that doesn't score either, barely. So you had an attacking line of a striker who doesn't seem to be able to score any goals or create any chances for himself or offer anything else in Hojlund, which is a shame, but it's a fact. Garnacho, who, let's be honest, thinks he's Ronaldo and he isn't. And the right-hand side was a bit of a mishap, really. It was Ahmad for a while. He did phenomenal, then got injured. Then it was Mason Mount, didn't really offer anything. Like, it was just completely misfiring, our attacking line. There was no togetherness. There was no team. It was just individual players all just running around, struggling, trying to create something. And it doesn't work. So I think, you know, with those front three next season, my expectations go from, are we going to get relegated, to we need to be getting European football. And maybe that's a little bit of a step too far. But I think when you have that attacking line, you've got Gyökeres, who scored 54 goals in all competitions last season. You've got Mbuemo, who got 20 goals in the Premier League alone. And then you've got Matheus Cunha, who is creative. He is a goal scorer. And you've got Bruno as well. I mean, goals are going to be coming from all different areas. Cunha got 15 goals and 6 assists last season, playing as a central attacking midfielder. So if you look at our whole team, right, the whole potential attacking line, you've got Mbuemo, who scored 20 goals in the Premier League. Cunha, who scored 15 goals in the Premier League as an attacking midfielder. And then you've also got Gyökeres, who scored 54 goals in all competitions. So I think it's very, very exciting. I'm buzzing about this. Gyökeres was the player that I always wanted. He was the one I wanted. I do like, what's he called? Osimhen. I really, really like Osimhen, but we know that the wages that Osimhen was asking for were vast and probably unrealistic, unless he was going to go to Saudi, which apparently he's now not. So just a little quick one on the Saudi story, if anybody's interested. So Osimhen was on the brink of moving to Saudi, but apparently that deal has now fallen through. Some people are saying Man United should go back in for him. I just don't see it happening. And the reason why is very, very simple, okay? Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon, and this is the key fact that you need to take away from this. Gyökeres currently earns at Sporting Lisbon only £39,000 a week. Just let that sink in for a minute. £39,000 per week Gyökeres is on, okay? Let's flip that over to Manchester United. You've got Gyökeres, who scored 54 goals in all competitions, and he's not even earning 40 grand a week. Look at Manchester United. We pay Rasmus Hojlund, who joined at the age of 19. We currently pay him £85,000 per week. So Hojlund joined after playing in the Serie A and getting 9 goals in professional football at the age of 19. We're paying him over double what Sporting Lisbon are paying Gyökeres. And the reason that I'm bringing this point into the show is quite simple, really. So Gyökeres comes to Manchester United and we give him 150 grand a week, let's say, okay? That would be nearly 4 times his current salary at Sporting Lisbon. And it's not really breaking the wage bill. 150 grand a week is the same wages that Luke Shaw's on. It's the same wage that Christian Eriksen was on. It's about the same wage as what Mazraoui and Lindelof are on. Like, it's not that much money. Obviously, to me or you, 150 grand a week is a lot of money. But in context to our wage bill, 150 grand a week is kind of, it's towards the top, but it's not like crazy, crazy money, right? Whereas you flip that on its head with Osimhen. Osimhen's currently earning around 250,000 a week at Napoli. Obviously, he was on loan last season, but he's around 250 to 300 a week. And supposedly he's asking for that after tax, which in England would be probably around 350, 400 grand a week before tax. So the point I'm making here is his wages are almost double what Gyökeres's are. Well, sorry, not double. They're like 5 times what Gyökeres's are. Gyökeres is on 40k, Osimhen's on 250k. So when you look at that over a 5-year period, right? So Osimhen's on about 20 million a year. Say we sign him on a 5-year deal. That would be £100 million worth of wages. Whereas if you look at Gyökeres, for example, it's going to be like a quarter of that, 25 million over 5 years. So I think that's why Manchester United are quite focused on Gyökeres. Obviously, he's played with Ruben Amorim before. He has played in England before as well, remember. He was at Brighton for a while. He also was at Coventry. So he does have experience of living in England, whereas obviously Osimhen doesn't. I like Osimhen. I would happily take Osimhen as well. But I'm just trying to explain the reasoning as to why I think Manchester United are going for Gyökeres opposed to Osimhen. And I think there is multiple different factors. Obviously the wages, the fact that he's played with Amorim before, and the fact that he obviously knows England as well. He's lived here before. He's played in the Championship. He's played in the Premiership. And he'll probably take a lot less time to settle in versus Osimhen might come to England. He might not like it. It's a possibility. So that's the reason that I think that they've gone with Gyökeres. And I understand that. I relate to that. I have no problem with that. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you could do me a small favour, I would really, really appreciate it if you can subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the transfer window. That is the goal. We can do that as a community. The support over the last couple of days has been phenomenal. So please keep it up. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to put a link into the chat. And if you are already subscribed, what I ask for you this morning is to like the video. The more people that like the video, the more that YouTube's algorithm will show this video to other people, which again will really help me out. So this morning, for example, we have 700 people watching this video right now. 700 of you are in the chat, okay? And there's only 100 likes. So if you could do me a favor, it's completely free. Drop a like. Let's try and get to 700 likes. Why not? Let's give it a go. Okay, so let's do a little poll. Let's get people involved in the chat. So we're going to do this. I've got a really good one. Really, really good question for you guys this morning. Who would you prefer? And I'm really interested to see what the outcome of this poll is going to be. I'm going to do who would you prefer? Okay, is everyone ready for this? We're going to do the same transfer fee just to make it easy. There we go. But yeah, remember to drop a like and remember to subscribe, everybody. Let's try and get to 50,000 by the end of the transfer window. We can do that. Let's all pull together and let's get this channel moving in the right direction. So please go and do that right now. So the question is simple for you all. What would you prefer? Gyökeres or Osimhen? The poll is now set up. You can go and do that right now. Very, very keen to see how the results of this poll go. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Gyökeres and Osimhen are both 60 million, which is about right. They're both around 60 million pounds, okay? So for argument's sake, they're both 60 million. Go and get involved in that poll. Obviously, if you're watching back on repeat, you won't be able to get involved in the poll because the poll is exclusively for the live shows. But you can obviously have your say in the comment section. I read all the comments. I love to see what other Manchester United fans have to say. So the poll is now live. So far, 84% of people are saying Gyökeres. So let's see. We'll give it 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes' time, I will read the results of that poll out to you guys, okay? So, keeping on the topic of attacking players, there is a really, really positive update this morning from Simon Stone from the BBC. He's a Tier 1 journalist. He's the Manchester United correspondent for the BBC here in the UK. And he is reporting that Manchester United are now confident that they will complete a deal to sign Bryan Mbuemo. So that's really, really positive. Obviously, the first bid was rejected. That was 2 days ago. 45 million was rejected, plus I think it was 10 million in add-ons. The new bid going in is reportedly going to be £50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Total package, 60 million. I think that's fair. He got 20 goals in the Premier League last season, playing for Brentford. So even if he came to Man United and got 15 goals, I think £50 million for 15 goals a season is, I think that's pretty good value for money. When you look at last season, our top scorers, right? Who was it? Was it Garnacho in the Premier League? Let's have a little look. So in 2024, our top goal scorers were I mean, this is honestly shocking. So Garnacho got 6 goals last season in all competitions. Bruno got 8. Ahmad got 8. And Rashford got 4. That is honestly staggering. Hojlund got 4. Hojlund got the same amount of goals as a striker who played 32 games as what Rashford did. Hojlund played 2,012 minutes for Manchester United last season and he only got 4 goals. Rashford played only 900 minutes and got 4 goals. So that's mad, isn't it? We need goals. You can see from this chart I'm looking at, we're literally crying out for goals. And the fact that we're bringing in Cunha, who got 15 in the Prem last season, Gyökeres, who's got 54 goals in all competitions last season, and Brian Mbuemo, who got 20 in the Premier League alone. Each one of those players got more than double what we got in all competitions. Ahmad was our highest scoring player. He got 8 goals in all competitions, which wasn't actually bad because he only played like 1,900 minutes. So he was averaging a goal every kind of half a game, Ahmad, that he played, that's not bad. That's a good return. But when you look at some of the others, Bruno played nearly 3,000 minutes and he only got 8 goals. He was averaging a goal every 5 games. Like, it's not enough. If we want to get in the top 4, if we want to, I don't know, I'm not going to say challenge for the title because I just think we're not at that point yet. I think if we get Mbuemo, Gyökeres and Cunha, I think we're moving in the right direction. And I think we would be in with a conversation of being a Champions League competing team, as in to get into the Champions League places, right? But I think we're way off the conversation of being title contenders. And that's not because I'm not excited about these signings, by the way. I think these signings that we've discussed sound like a title-winning attack. Brian Mbuemo, Cunha and Gyökeres. To me, that feels like a team, an attacking line that could win the Premier League, genuinely. But as I said, the problems we still have are goalkeeper, wing-backs, central midfielders, centre-backs. And you also need cover for these players because what happens if Cunha and Gyökeres get injured? Who do you have then? Xerxes. And I quite like Xerxes, don't get me wrong, but Xerxes not someone who's going to win the Premier League, I don't think. Whereas I think that front three we've discussed, the player who got 20 goals in the Premier League last season in Mbuemo, Cunha got 15 and Gyökeres got 54, that seems like Premier League title-winning players, but we don't have the squad depth. It's as simple as that. Right, let's see what else people are saying in the chat this morning. Paul saying he wants to go for Vlahovic. Nah, not for me, my man. But obviously, I appreciate your comment this morning, and I appreciate you watching the stream. I wouldn't personally go for Vlahovic. And the reason why is very, very simple, okay? He's a quality player. But the reason why nobody's going for Vlahovic is this. There's 2 reasons. The main one being is his wages. And again, this boils back to the Osimhen conversation we had a couple of minutes ago. The reason for me why Manchester United are going for Gyökeres is very, very simple, okay? He is on a very small amount of money at Sporting Lisbon. So we know that Manchester United are not trying to overpay on wages at the moment. That's a fact. And we can easily give Gyökeres 3-4 times what he's earning now. Remember what I said earlier? Gyökeres is on £39,000 per week at Sporting. So if we were to give him 150 grand a week, that's nearly 5 times what he's earning now. Whereas in the conversation of Vlahovic, is he a quality player? Yes. Is he world class? I'm not sure. Is his age profile right? Yes. But the problem that Manchester United have with someone like Vlahovic or someone like Osimhen is, again, the wage bill. Vlahovic is on nearly 400,000 euros per week, 373,000 to be exact. Crazy, crazy money, nearly 20 million euros a year. Same with Osimhen, it's about the same type of money. So if they join Manchester United, right, Vlahovic isn't going to say, oh, I'll take a wage cut. He won't. He'll say, I want the same amount of money, which means that we'd be paying him. He'd probably become the highest earning player at our club. Let me just double check what it is in pounds. He is on... Vlahovic last season earned £315,000 per week. 315 grand a week, pounds. And that's why Manchester United and other teams aren't going for him. Because, like I said, he's not going to come and say, oh, I'll take 100 grand a week or 150. He's 25, he's in his prime. He's just simply not going to do that. Why would he? Footballers are mercenaries these days. We know that. Every single player who gets a big move is going to say, I want the same amount of money. I want a signing on bonus. That's why Sancho's still here. That's why Rashford's still here. That's why we can't move on players because we give them huge salaries and then we can't get rid of them. So as much as I like Vlahovic and as much as I think he's a good player, I just think for 300 grand plus a week, it's not really an option for me. And that's why I'm so excited about the fact of Gyökeres, because I think the fact that his wages are small, the fact that he has a release clause, the fact that he's played with Amorim before, all of these signs for me just say yes, 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 bring in Gyökeres. But again, I appreciate your comment. Wayne says, I've read that Osimhen is apparently demanding 290,000 a week after tax, which would put him at 40% tax. So his wages before tax would be around 450 grand a week. Yeah, mate, we had this conversation a couple of days ago, and you're completely right there. That story has been widely reported that Osimhen is demanding around, okay, this is all rough, all right, so don't take this exact figures, but around 250,000 pounds per week after tax. Obviously, the tax system in the UK, if you're in the highest bracket, which Osimhen obviously would be, is around 40% of whatever you earn. So if you earned £1 million a week, the UK government will take 40% of that in tax. So as Wayne has said in the chat, in Osimhen's example, for him to get his 250 grand a week after tax, he would need to earn around 450 a week before tax, which would make him the most expensive player in our team. Casemiro's on 350, we complain about that. Bruno's on 350, we complain about that. Where would be the logic in saying, Osimhen, here's 450 grand a week before tax? It just doesn't make sense. I think it's a massive risk. If it doesn't work out, again, you won't be able to move him on because no one's going to pay that wage. So, yeah. But let's talk about Osimhen really, really quickly, because there is an update on Osimhen to bring you guys this morning. So the Osimhen story today is from Fabrizio. This came out 1 hour ago. Fabrizio is reporting this morning that Victor Osimhen to Al Hilal has apparently collapsed. Okay. This has now obviously got Manchester United fans on high alert. People are like, let's bring him in. What are we doing? Apparently, now this surprised me. Apparently Galatasaray are trying to sign him on a permanent deal. Imagine that. Imagine Victor Osimhen ends up signing a permanent deal at Galatasaray. You know what? I'd actually respect him if he did that, because if he did that, he'd be telling us he's not doing it for the money. They're not going to offer him as much money as a Saudi club would. That's crazy though, isn't it? That at the moment, as per Fabrizio Romano, apparently Osimhen is not joining Al Hilal. And at the moment, it looks like Galatasaray are in the front position to sign him. Mad. But, sometimes stuff like this happens. Somebody's upset that I said Hojlund is useless. Everyone's entitled to opinions. I think, as I've always said with Hojlund, okay, I think we are the ones who've messed up Hojlund, to be honest. I think it's on Manchester United, the fact that Hojlund has failed at Manchester United. It's not on him. I like Hojlund. I think he has bags of potential. We have failed him. We should have never expected Hojlund to be the only striker in this Manchester United team. So when I say he is useless, that's maybe a little bit harsh, but a player who got 4 goals in all competitions last season as a striker, I think useless is probably a fair term. The use of Hojlund is to score goals, right? Would we agree? What's the point of a striker? Somebody answer me in the chat. The point of a striker is to score goals. What's the point of a goalkeeper? To stop shots going in. What's the point of a defender? To stop attacks. So if your striker plays every single minute of the season and only scores 4 goals, they're not really fulfilling their use, are they? Their use is to score goals. So maybe useless is a little bit harsh, but 4 goals in all competitions, to me, I don't think that's very good. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you're happy with 4 goals in a season. And as I said, though, I think a lot of that blame is on the board. It's on the Glazers. It's on John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold. It's on Jason Wilcox. It's on all of the people in the upper management team at Manchester United, because they brought in a 19-year-old. They paid 60 odd million for him when he was never worth that. And they didn't give him the tools to succeed. So, yeah. But, let's have a look. Would you have Martinez? As in Lautaro Martinez? Martinez? People say Martinez price news? I've not heard nothing about Lautaro Martinez. No. I mean, maybe I don't know. I think he's like another one who's going to cost you crazy, crazy wages, isn't he? Lautaro Martinez. I do like him. He's a decent player, very experienced, isn't he? But I think for me, I'm just fully focused on Gyökeres now. That's the person I want. I would take Osimhen as well, but I just think the wages are stupid. And we can't sit here and complain about Casemiro's wages and Bruno's wages and then all be like, oh, let's sign Osimhen. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know, if we're all worried about wages and we feel like players are stealing a living at our club, which they are, we can't then go and sign another player who's going to earn crazy, crazy money either. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah. Right, let's have a little look at the results of the poll. So 85% of people watching the video today want us to sign Gyökeres, and 15% of you want us to sign Viktor Osimhen. Oh, you mean Emi Martinez? I was thinking Lautaro Martinez, really? Emi Martinez, I mean, would I take him over Onana? Yes. Let's do a poll. All right, so the last poll, 85% of people said Gyökeres. Right, whilst I'm setting up this poll, anybody who has just joined, please make sure to subscribe. We've got over 1,000 people in the room now, people. There is 1,000 people watching this show live, and we've only got 200 likes. What are we doing? So please go and like the video right now. Let's try and get to 1,000 likes, and make sure you subscribe as well. We are going to set up a poll here. Would you take Emi Martinez as new goalkeeper? Simple question. There you go. Everyone go and like and subscribe. So the question is this: Emi Martinez. Would I take Emi Martinez? I mean, I'd rather Emi Martinez than Onana, if that's the question. Let me have a look. How long's he got left on his contract? He's got 4 years left on his contract. So it would take an important fee. They're not going to do it for cheap, are they? They didn't get Champions League football, though. So I think Aston Villa are in a bit of a sticky situation, aren't they? Financially, from what I've heard. They need to sell. Wages-wise, he's on 150 grand a week, which means if he came to Manchester United, he'd obviously ask for more because that's what everybody does. So he'd probably be on, 200 a week at United if he's on 150 at Aston Villa. To be honest, it all depends on context. If someone said to me, you can get Emi Martinez for 5 million, I would do it. But if it's going to cost you 40, 50 million, no. I would probably pay, I don't know, 10 to 20 million, which is probably unrealistic. That would be my kind of threshold. 32 years of age. He's probably got another, 8 years left in him, realistically, at the top level. So yeah, I would take Emi Martinez, but it would have to be at a reasonable amount of money, not at 250 grand a week and 40, 50 million in transfer fees. But yeah. People are saying he's very annoying. Yeah, I mean, the problem we have as a fan base is we have a goalkeeper who is, again, am I allowed to use the word useless, or are people going to get upset with me? Would we agree that Onana is useless? We bought him to play out from the back, and he just kicks the ball long or kicks it out every time. He doesn't seem to be able to stop shots. He doesn't seem to be able to come from crosses. He doesn't command his box. We have a goalkeeper at the moment who, I'm going to say it, is useless, realistically. So it's very, very easy for us to say, anything would be better than Onana, unfortunately. And that makes me sad because I was so excited when Onana joined, and I don't know what's gone wrong. It just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked at all. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but that's what happens sometimes. Right, circling back to Hojlund. Let's talk about Hojlund, shall we? So the latest news on Hojlund this morning, people, is that apparently Inter Milan are set to submit a bid for Rasmus Hojlund. Apparently they're looking to do a loan with an obligation to buy. How do people feel about that? I would much prefer a permanent deal. Yeah, I don't really see the point in loaning Hojlund out. If we're going to loan him, we may as well just keep him, realistically. What's the point in loaning Hojlund? He's not on big wages. Is he going to even get game time at Inter Milan? I mean, they've got a fair few strikers, don't they, Inter Milan? Is he going to play? Apparently, Cesc Fabregas is going to be the new Inter manager. I don't know. I would sell him. I would sell Hojlund. I think, as I said, we have failed Hojlund. Hojlund hasn't failed us. I think there's a very important narrative that we need to focus on here with Rasmus Hojlund. We are the ones who failed Rasmus Hojlund. Manchester United, the board at Manchester United, letting people like Rashford go and not bringing in another striker. Going into the season with your only striker being Rasmus Hojlund. That was a failure on the board's part. And now people like me are going to sit here and call him useless, which is probably unfair. But it's true. He scored 4 goals in, 40 games or something. And he should have had more support. You know, there should have been a world-class striker, a Harry Kane. I'm not saying I want Harry Kane, by the way. I'm just giving you an example. There should have been a player of Harry Kane's kind of experience and quality leading the line, and Hojlund could have been the understudy. That's what should have happened. You know, but now we're in a position where we've effectively killed this guy's career. And obviously he has a part in that as well. You know, he's not completely faultless, but yeah, I think a lot of the blame does need to be looked at us, realistically. So, yeah. Let's see what else is going on in the chat today. Luando says, what's going on with Edison from Atalanta? Edison from Atalanta. I'm going to be honest, my friend. I've heard nothing about Edison from Atalanta for a long, long time. I don't think we're in for him. I don't. I might be wrong, but I don't think we're in for him. I think the plan is this. I think next season, they're going to have Ugarte and Bruno as the midfield too. That's what I reckon they're going to do. Because remember, you've still got Mainu, Casemiro, Toby Collier, Sekou Kone. There's probably somebody else I've forgotten. Anybody else I've forgotten? Other midfield options. So yeah, I think the starting midfield would be Ugarte and Bruno. Some games it might be Ugarte and Casemiro. Some games it might be Casemiro and Bruno. Casemiro's going nowhere and Bruno's going nowhere, realistically. Okay? And then the midfield backups, you have Toby Collier, Mainu, Kone, and there was somebody else. Who's the other midfielder we've got? I can't remember. There's somebody else that's slipped my mind. But effectively what I'm saying is we've got like 3 or 4 other players, including Casemiro. You know, Ugarte, Bruno, Casemiro, Collier. Who else is there? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Mainu. Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 midfielders. So as much as we do need a midfielder, and I agree with you, we need a whole new attacking line way more, in my opinion. Like Cunha, Mbuemo, and Gyökeres are non-negotiable. Like, we need them. It's not a case of, oh, let's bring them in and see how it goes. Like, we need these players to come in and score us goals. As I said to you a minute ago, we've only got 8 goals. Our highest scorer last season got 8 goals in all competitions. That's not good enough. And you're bringing in Gyökeres, who got 54 goals. You're bringing in Cunha, who got 15 goals in the Premier alone. You're bringing him in Mbuemo, who got 20 goals in the Premier League alone. Yeah, Mason Mount as well. Yeah, I forgot about Mason Mount. So yeah, I really, really do like Edison from Atalanta. I think he's a phenomenal player, but I think he's going to cost you, 50, 60 million. And at the moment, our biggest issue is scoring goals. That's the problem. We need to score goals. And at the moment, we're not scoring goals. It's as simple as that. Johnny says, I think Sekou Kone will be ready or good in 2 years. I agree. I think he looked really, really good the other day. There's also Dan Gore as well, isn't there? I don't know how far along Dan Gore is in his development. I'm not sure. I don't know if he'll ever kind of reach the level that we're expecting, but there is Dan Gore as well. He is another option. What else have we got in the chat? Fred says, forgetting Mason Mount is about right. Yeah, fair. I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, let's talk about Antony then, shall we? So we've got another big story to bring you guys today. The story on Antony is simple. Where is it? Antony. Yes. Let's just have a little look in the chat quickly before we do that. Guys, an amazing stream today. Over 1,000 people in the live chat. Incredible. I'm going to set a little target, all right? If we can get the channel to 42,000 by the time I finish this stream. So if everybody who's watching now subscribes, who isn't, I will give away one of the brand new Manchester United third kits. If we can get to 42k by the end of today's video. There's over 1,000 of you in here. We only need a couple of hundred to do it. So if everyone who's watching subscribes right now and we can get to 42,000 by the end of this video, I'm going to give away the new Manchester United third kit. So there's a target. If we can do it, over 1,000 of you in the room, let's give it a go. You should be able to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. I'll keep you updated, guys. We only need a couple of hundred, and there's only over 1,000 of you in here. So go and do that, and then on the next video, if we've hit 42,000 by the end of this stream today, I will give away the brand new third kit of Manchester United, which I'm just going to say now is absolutely stunning. So make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 42, and then I'll give away a free shirt. If we can do it this video. So let's move over to Antony then, shall we? So the latest on Antony is that apparently remember that guy that we were linked to from Real Betis? Was it Cardoso or Cardosa, the midfielder? So apparently he's on the brink of joining Atletico Madrid for £30 million, which will then mean that that Real Betis have enough money to buy Antony, and apparently they're going to submit a bid of around £35 million. I would take it. I would take 35 million at this point. Let me just double check something quickly. I want to check what Antony's book value is. So if people don't understand what I'm about to do, how PSR works is you get the transfer fee, you get the length of the contract, and that works out their book value. So in Antony's example here, okay, Antony we paid, I can't even look at the transfer fee we paid for Antony. It actually makes me feel sad. We paid 95 million euros for Antony. Oh my God. Right, so that's £80 million, okay? And he was signed on a 5-year contract. So he's been here for 3 years. Yes, 3 years. So his book value is, we've got £32 million left PSR-wise on Antony's book value. So if we sold Antony to Real Betis for 35 million this summer, we would make a £3 million profit in relation to PSR. Obviously, overall, we've lost loads of money, but the main important thing here is PSR. So if we sell him for 35, his book value is 32, we would make 3 million profit, which is decent. Very, very decent. Well, I say it's decent. It's not really, is it? We've gone from 90 million to 35 million, but still, I think a year ago or 6 months ago, I feel like Antony would be worth, 10 million? And now we've managed to get him up to nearly 35. I mean, it's an improvement, isn't it? And he is on big wages. I think he's on about 150k a week. So the reports this morning are suggesting that Real Betis are set to make a bid for Antony. As I said, Cardosa, or Cardoza, however you say his name, is moving to Atletico Madrid. That was the midfielder that we were linked to from Real Betis. And that will then give them the funds to go and sign Antony. Amazing. Let's hope that this deal gets done early on in the window, and let's hope that we have plenty of time to reinvest those funds. Really, really excited about this. Yeah, really excited, man. Yeah, somebody saying we're making money on Antony is crazy. Well, I mean, overall, we're going to take the biggest L, I think, ever, aren't we? If we sell him for 35 million, that would be a £55 million loss versus what we paid for him. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? Another player whose career we've completely ruined. But in all fairness to Antony, he's gone to Real Betis and, he's turned things around. So hats off to him. I have no bad wishes towards Antony. He's done very, very well at Real Betis, and hopefully he can continue that form. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if we have any other stories to bring you all this morning. We're still a way off on this subscriber target, people. Remember, 42,000. If we hit it by the end of today's video, we will give away a free shirt in the next stream. But we need to hit it by the end of today. So everyone go and subscribe. Let's do it. So there's a little bit of a story coming from Manchester United, from Sky Sports this morning, saying that apparently Manchester United are expected to spend big this summer. I mean, that's great. There was also a story yesterday that was done by The Athletic, and it was really, really interesting. And it said that apparently Manchester United have the third best PSR position at the moment, i.e. meaning we can spend the most money. And Manchester United's problem is not actually PSR and financial fair play. Our issue is actually cash. We don't have that much cash to buy players. So that's actually the issue. It's not PSR. And the reason for that is because, do you remember when Jim Ratcliffe took over, or partially took over? he put a massive injection of cash into the football club, around, I think it was 250 million. And apparently that took us from being one of the worst clubs in relation to profit and sustainability to the third best. So we're actually in a really, really positive position. And we can actually spend loads of money this summer. The issue we have is the money, the cash flow of giving the teams the money we want to buy the players. So a lot of the deals we're going to do this summer are going to have to be structured very cleverly. It's going to have to be over like a 3-year period, 4-year period, 5-year period. Like we're not cash rich at the moment, unfortunately. But still, we are in a good position PSR wise. So don't let people tell you we're not. I'm trying to find the story from The Athletic, but yeah, it was a story The Athletic put out 2 days ago. And it effectively said Manchester United were in the third best position. Here we go. Every club's PSR situation. Let me log in. So annoying that you have to pay to go on The Athletic, isn't it? See if I can log in quickly. But yeah, we're the third best club in relation to PSR. Let's see if I can find it quickly. I've got the article here, but it's making me log in. Right, yeah. So number 1 is Chelsea, then it's Man City, then it's Tottenham, and then it is Manchester United. So we're 141 million away from being at risk of a PSR breach. So effectively, we can spend 141 million this summer without selling any players, and we'd still be within PSR's rules, which is great, right? Is everyone happy with that? I certainly am. So yeah, that's our PSR's position, guys. So don't let people tell you that Manchester United are in a mess. We are in a mess, don't get me wrong, but PSR-wise, we're actually in a pretty strong position. And we have 141 million. This is as per the Athletic, saying that we have 141 million we can spend this summer without selling any players, and we would still be within PSR's guidelines. So very, very positive there. Right, I am seeing if there's anything else in the chat. Let's have a look. People are saying Chelsea are the masters of beating PSR. Yeah. Chelsea do a crazy, crazy job. Crazy job. Joe says, we ain't selling Sancho and Rashford. It's going to be loan deals. To be honest, Joe, as I said a couple of seconds ago, as per The Athletic, we have 141 million to spend now and still are within PSR. So it doesn't really matter too much whether we sell Sancho and Rashford immediately. As long as we sell them, that will just be added on to the 141 million. So, and remember, Garnacho is probably going to go as well. And Antony. So if we got, 40 million for Garnacho, 35 million for Antony. Let's say 30 million for Sancho and 30 million for Rashford. That's a further 135 million there on those 4 players alone. So you can see where the money's going to come from. So yeah, I'm feeling quite positive about this win. It's pounds, Soham. 141 million pounds is how much we can spend and still be within PSR. So that's really, really positive. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, people. So just a little heads up. I'm going away today, but I am taking my streaming software with me. So I will be able to stream whilst I'm away. The videos will be at the usual times. It will just be a different location. The plant won't be here. So I will see you all tomorrow. There probably won't be any more videos today because I'm going to be traveling. But yeah, I'm going to be here all of this week. Lots and lots of videos. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. And be sure to like the video as well. If you have enjoyed today's video, it would really help me out. Give the video a like on your way out. It doesn't cost you any money. Completely free. Thank you so much for spending your Friday morning with me. And I will see you all tomorrow, if not before, if something breaks. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your Fridays, and I'll speak to you all later.